If you've ever tried fitting in a Mazda Miata or a Lotus Elise and you felt more like a human origami project, then this video is for you. We're gonna walk through some evidence-based and practical guidelines on how you as a taller or larger driver can fit in smaller vehicles. I'm talking the headroom, the awkward posture, the steering wheel clearance, the pedal box, all those things and more. The first thing actually starts with your own attire. Now these are Vivo barefoot shoes. These are minimalist shoes. They have essentially no padding, and this effectively reduces my height. If I was wearing normal sneakers, I'd be an extra inch taller, so I'd be around 6'2", but with these minimalist shoes, I'm down at 6'1", which makes a big difference when it comes to fitting in, because in a small car like this, every inch counts. That means an extra inch of legroom, and the seat is almost all the way back. I actually have a fixed lowering bracket, which we'll cover later. But minimalist shoes are key. Now, I had Pelote driving shoes, which I bought back in 2022. And Pelote makes some cool shoes. They look great, but they're just too bulky, especially at the rear end. I don't know, maybe they've updated them since, but I always felt like they were too bulky, and I don't actually like driving in them. These minimalist Vivo barefoot shoes with a wide toe box, which is better for your foot health, are actually my preference when I'm driving on the street. And when I am on the track, I have some special racing shoes, which are similar to these in that they have essentially no padding, and they have a rolled heel as well, because you're going to be rolling on your heel as you engage with various pedals. But it's actually not just the height. The other important thing about minimalist shoes is the way that your foot actually interacts with the pedals. With minimalist shoes, since you don't have any padding here, you're reducing any of the sensory dampening so that when you get on any pedal, it's almost as if you're barefoot. Not quite, you have a little bit of rigidity to the shoe, but you're reducing that otherwise insulating effect that reduces the sensory feedback you get through the pedals. You want to feel that. It makes you a faster, better driver. We're actually going to put the top up simply because audio. But just like in surgery, you want to have good proprioception, you want to have good ergonomics, and minimalist shoes help with that. Thicker shoes are going to add more noise, more insulation, and your brain won't be able to make sense of all those subtle changes in the pedals that give you feedback that help you drive more effectively, smoother, and faster. Now, the one downside of these wide toe box shoes is that in smaller cars, like let's say an NA Miata, like a spec Miata that I drove a few years back, my shoes were getting cut underneath the pedals because the pedals were all spaced so close together. So in those instances, I would recommend just regular racing shoes because they have a narrow toe box, which doesn't give you that issue, but they still have, again, the minimalist padding. And you can find links to my favorite shoes down in the description. Now, next up, since you can't change your height, you can at least change this one, which is your weight, your adiposity, how much fat you have on your body. Have you ever noticed, sometimes you're on a plane and you see someone sitting in front of you and it looks like a really tall guy, but then he stands up and you realize he's actually pretty short. The reason is because when you have higher adiposity, especially around the midsection, that extra fatty tissue is gonna push you up in your seat because any fat around your hips and legs, that's just extra cushion that pushes the rest of your body higher up. So if you're limited by headroom, as I am here in this car, then losing weight, if you have weight to lose, is going to help. And there are other benefits too. Metabolic health is incredibly important and is one of the lead dominoes to many other concerning chronic health conditions. It's actually considered one of the 4 horsemen. The other ones being cardiovascular, neurodegenerative, and cancer. I do summarize Peter Attia's Outlive over on the Kevin Jamal MD channel, link in the description, if you want to learn more about health and adiposity, metabolic health, longevity, all those things. I do geek out on that almost as much as I geek out on cars. Let's give you a pull. But see, with these minimalist shoes, I'm able to drive with so much more communication through the pedals, so much more comfort. Actually, I played pickleball the other day, and I was wearing my, you know, pickleball shoes, and it was really hard. I didn't have enough leg room. Even right now, I'm slightly squished, so I had to bend my legs even more than they already are. And on top of that, I had that extra insulation, which made it a lot more challenging. But here, man, these are the exact type of shoes that you want. Nice little bit of rotation. We're gonna get back to fitting in smaller cars, but this is just my favorite section of this road. Oh yes, such money. The next tip is to optimize your seating position. The most obvious one is you want to have your seat as low as possible, especially if you're a taller driver. In terms of positioning to the steering wheel, most people have themselves a little bit too far. You actually want to be able to comfortably rest your wrists over like this. Now, I'm technically doing it, but my shoulders are rolling very far forward. So I'm not in a fully optimal position. I may get a steering wheel spacer to bring the steering wheel a little bit further out to me. But if you're a taller driver, you're probably used to these suboptimal ergonomics, which is not something that you should just accept. You want to always optimize ergonomics. I remember in the operating room, my attendings would always correct me, hey, you know, ergonomics and posture are so important because over time, it reduces fatigue, it improves precision, it reduces any errors that you would otherwise make. And you want to do the same thing when you're driving. You want to have your thighs, if your seat base is adjustable, you want to have your thighs supported. You want to have your seat slightly reclined. I do just enough such that I'm not having any back pain. But also if you recline too far, that you're really further away from the steering wheel, which further stretches out your hands and makes precision performance driving even more challenging. You want to make sure your shoulders are supported by the seat back. Sometimes people recline it so far and then they roll forward, which doesn't make any sense. Your shoulders, your hips, these should be in contact with the seat at all times. And then finally, telescope your wheel to the position that, if you're taller, is usually all the way out, but to the position that is just as low as possible, that it doesn't obstruct your view of the gauges. Because when it's lower down, it's actually better from a ergonomic position. A lot of people have their steering wheels too high up, which is going to cause unnecessary shoulder fatigue. So far towards you, pretty low down. If you're taller, like me, then you're going to probably max it out as far back as possible and usually close to as low as possible. Again, without obstructing your gauges. And the last and final point is making intelligent modifications to better fit in your car. Exhibit A, this Mazda Miata. I'm actually going to show you some of the mods that I've done to help me fit in this car, especially on track, because for a convertible, you need to add a roll bar, and you as the driver with your helmet on need to fit underneath the roll bar. So we'll take this top down. There are a few things I did. So, number one, I got a Jass seat lowering bracket that lowered the seat base by 2¼ inches. That is the greatest amount of seat drop you can have in the ND Miata, and that works with both the Recaro seats and the standard seats. But then part of the issue is the seat back itself has this curvature for your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine. And if you're a taller driver, then you're going to find that the positioning of the thoracic and lumbar spine is actually not aligned with yours. And you're going to get into a kyphotic posture whereby your upper back gets rolled over like Quasimodo, and it causes back pain on longer drives. So that was causing me a lot of issues. I initially only lowered the seat and thinking, you know, as the Vlad from Jass Performance suggests, you know, first lower the seat, see how that feels, and then decide. and I lowered the seat, it still was very uncomfortable. So I added the seat back raising kit, which is 5 centimeters. The whole seat back is raised up, and the seat is fixed with the lowering. With the 2.2 inches, you don't have rails. If you want to add rails, it'll be a little bit higher and the front will be tilted up more. But the seat back raising kit got the thoracic and lumbar curvature closer in line with my true anatomy. So that's been huge. It doesn't feel quite as good as a proper seat that is designed for someone who is taller, but it's pretty close. It's a lot better than the stock example. Some people will also trim the foam or the mesh in the seats to lower them further, but I think you're gonna be compromising comfort and even some rigidity to the seat, and it's gonna feel a little bit saggy, so I don't wanna do that. Getting a smaller diameter steering wheel helps if you have issues with thigh clearance. Now, I did not have any thigh clearance with the stock 367 millimeter wheel, but I felt that 367 millimeters is a little bit too big for such a small car. So I went with this 330 millimeter aftermarket wheel instead. And for some people that will be required so that you can clear your thighs. It will help also getting in and out because you have additional clearance. And then the final thing, of course, is steering wheel spacers to bring the whole steering wheel closer to you, which we already covered. And I'm probably gonna do that in this Miata later on in the year. That being said, I urge you guys to balance safety and comfort. If you're gonna be street driving your car, sure, it's fine to get buckets, but keep your 3-point harness if you're street driving. If you're also street driving, keep your airbag. So a lot of people want to swap out their OEM steering wheel and airbag for some sick Momo wheel, which I get it, race car. But if you're driving this on the street and you don't have a helmet and a Hans and a harness and all those things, you want the airbag. These are important safety technologies. I personally would never street drive a car without an airbag just because of #racecar, because the safety trade-off just isn't worth it in my eyes. Especially with a small car like this where people are constantly not seeing you and you're constantly having to drive incredibly defensively and still occasionally having close calls. And then finally, pick cars that have some smart packaging. Not all small cars are created equal. The GR86 as an example, which is, 10-inch longer wheelbase, 500 pounds heavier. It's a much larger car, and I have no issues fitting in that other than wanting to telescope the steering wheel a little bit further, which I can fix with a wheel spacer. So choosing the right car is also going to make your life a lot easier. I didn't have to do all these various seat mods, etc. in my old GR86 or in my old FRS when I owned them. Miatas, on the other hand, are going to be tight for a lot of the taller drivers out there, especially if you're adding a roll bar and you need to pass the broomstick test. Some people were saying that you shouldn't do the seat back raising kit because it doesn't allow you to clear the broomstick test, which doesn't make any sense. The broomstick test is about your head as in relation to the top of the windshield to the roll bar. So as long as you're below that, you're totally fine. And even still, the seat back raising kit is still actually underneath that line. So even if it was important, it wouldn't matter, but I just want to clarify that misinformation I've seen online. So to recap, number 1, minimalist shoes. Number 2, your metabolic health and adiposity. Number 3, optimize your seating position. And number 4, modify your car if needed. Remember, fitting better isn't just about driving more comfortably. It's also about improving your health, your control, and your longevity as well. My friends, comment down below. Let's help each other out. What is your height and what car do you drive? And do you have any mods or any additional tips to help other viewers out there who are larger that have a thing for smaller, lightweight cars? My friends, much love, and I'll see you all in the next one.